All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that weird transition right there, but it's good to see ya. My name is Paul Traney. I'm going to dive into this Principal Worldwide Design Evangelist. I guess that's what that says for Adobe. So, yeah, I guess that's what I'll do today, huh? Sounds good. Thank you, Michelle, for being so kind to me in Golden Rose and Reverb. Reverb, Mike, Fury, Marsha, Wade. Good to have you here. We're going to dive into creative blocks. This is going to deal with, but this is going to be a fun interactive session, and we're just going to create some things on the fly, right? But also, I've done some research here as well. Just wondering if you guys have ever dealt with creative blocks. I could imagine you have, haven't you? Right? Anybody working professionally these days or in any aspect has dealt with a creative block or just like not feeling inspired, so-called inspired. And I wanted to talk about it and give you some tips on sort of breaking through is the goal. So Mark, thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. If you're joining me elsewhere, appreciate you hanging out. Hop over to behance.net/. Adobe Live. That'd be awesome. I'm going to be using Photoshop mostly, right? We could talk about this. So like, I kind of want to know what you guys do when you're dealing with like a creative block, or if you need to come up with something, what do you do? You know, what's your go-to? So just reading chat. Uriel, thank you for joining us as well. And if you're new here, again, I just want to wish you a welcome. So how do you deal with creative blocks? So you're given a project, right? Or you need to just create something within an hour or something. Like, how do you deal with that creative block? Or how do you deal with like sort of like not feeling inspired? That's kind of the goal of this. And I want to sort of hear your tips. What would Paul do? That's a great question. So how would I deal with a creative block? To be honest with you, I would, and I'm getting into this already, but I would take a break. And we could talk about everything, what everybody does. I would take a break, right? Because oftentimes I feel like what we think a creative block is like, honestly, you're just tired or you're just hungry or you just need a stretch or it's something else, right? You're just not interested in your work. You just need to take a break. That's why I think the 40-hour work week is awesome. I've been a workaholic, and it's not the best thing to be a workaholic. Like, your time away is time well spent. So I'm curious as to what you guys do. Listen to music or watch a movie. This is awesome. So I'm just going to kind of gray these out. Let's take that down. And I'm going to write down some of these. And then we'll talk about what other professionals do as well. Listen to music. I'm constantly listening to music. Watch a movie. I'm actually listening to music right now on my little earbuds, like different music that's not copyrighted. Again, because I don't want this video to get taken down is the goal. So let's just make sure everything's playing. Good. So yeah, I listen to music all the time. That's awesome. Do something different. Do something else, you silly person. Okay, so go outside and look at green growing things. I love it. Go outside, just stare at a wall. Go outside. Sorry about that. Sometimes this pops up. Go outside. Stare at a green thing. Sorry about that. I think pets are good for this. Like, go pet your dog or cat, that sort of thing. But these are all, take a nap. And we're going to put these in categories as well. It's going to be really good. Did I say? I don't know what. These are AirPod Pros. That's what they are. Earbuds. I might have called them AirBuds. All right. I love it. I like it. Play video games. We're going to categorize these. Chances are these will go in a couple categories. Love it. Boom. Snacks. Where does that go? Under Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Take a nap. You need food. You need rest. Stare at a green thing. Love it. Okay, cool. Get some little furries. Get a pet. Pets are awesome. So again, that's what we're coming up with. Different things. Listen to music, watch a movie. That's awesome. Play some hoops. I miss playing basketball, man. So nice. We will put that under sort of getting exercise. Right? So it's basically kind of like playing an active game. Right? Boom. Drinks. Okay. There we go. Getting out of your comfort zone. So let's just do something new. That's what we'll do. We'll just title that do something new. But getting out of your comfort zone is a good call. Awesome. Work on a different project. Oh, this is so good. By the way, there is no wrong answer. And that's the great thing about this. Just like art, you know, there's not necessarily a wrong answer. So Muriel says, hi, Paul. Go for a short run. Marie says, go for a run. Awesome. Cool. This is all good. I think we kind of are capturing what people would do. Meditate. Cool. All right. So we got a number of things in here. We've added them. So right in here. A lot of this stuff sort of goes under sort of doing. Some of them belong under being, right? Some of them are going to be related to the industry, and some of them aren't, right? Go out and just play. I love it. Clean the house. Oh, Mercurial, you're speaking my language. So we're gonna actually kind of take this into we're gonna actually create something is the goal. I really like what we're doing here, to be honest with you. I could turn this into a whole design, and get to talk to coworkers. Awesome. So this is, what are coworkers? If I go talk to my cat. Chat with coworkers. This right here, this is awesome. This is kind of why Clubhouse is so popular. You kind of feel like you have coworkers that are kind of chatting in the office. So I like it. All right. Call with crows. Awesome. You guys have so many good ideas. Saida, do yoga, go out with friends. These are ideas that you're putting forth. I would also like to know specifically what you guys do. Would like just be great to hear. Learning something new. Love it, Dave. Cool. This is awesome. I like this. Learn something new, which is hopefully what you'll do today. Yeah, that's part of the appeal of Clubhouse. Go for a short run. Okay, I think we got it all. We got it all captured. How do you deal with a creative block? I think all of these are awesome ideas. What I typically do and what I look forward to doing is honestly like going for a run. So whoever said that, and we can start to categorize these, by the way. So again, these are like the doing, right? There's like the distracting, and then the doing, and then the doing nothing, right? That's kind of 3 different categories you end up with. So like, go do something else entirely, right? Right down here, which is go for a run, go have drinks, right? Go get exercise, right? Take care of your basic needs as well. Sometimes you're like dealing with a creative block, and honestly, you're just hungry. You just need a snack, or you need to sit down and watch a show. Like, take time off. So that's the big takeaway from this, is to obviously, like, if you're dealing with creative block, like, take a break of sorts, whatever that break may look like. And again, I'm not saying I have all this mastered, by the way, but we were looking for a common thread with everyone. Listen to music, watch a movie. I want to actually kind of like point out a couple resources for you guys as well. So what I do is I typically go for a run. Like every day I look forward to getting out and I go to Orange Theory and then I just run as fast as I can. And that's my big break for the day. And I also watch Vikings. So it's like exercise and then some other distraction entirely different from what I'm doing. Yes, like coffee, ideas need to percolate, which also brings you over to chatting with coworkers. You know, you're dealing with a creative block, chat with coworkers, right? And this is a big thing because, you know, we could chat by picking up the phone and calling somebody. This is what made sort of the salons in Paris and in Europe like kind of a big deal, like the ability to get together. And honestly, it was mostly around drinking. People would get together and drink and exchange ideas. And this is where creativity came from. It's like mixing with other people, you know, hearing their ideas, chatting with coworkers, like having a drink with them. Okay, so again, I think that's like hugely important. I'm surprised nobody said, oh, maybe painting, that's good. Nobody said, and maybe somebody did, but nobody said just like push through. If you're dealing with a creative block, who out there just kind of just pushes through and says, hey, you know what? I got to get this done. I'm going to beat this to death. Right? So it's the blunt force tactic. I'm curious if anybody does that. Yeah, look at this. Tell me what you think. Uriel, good call. All right, so creative blocks. A couple quotes just from a couple of, I don't know, other people. I'm not saying they're any smarter than you, you know? I like this. Chuck Close is like inspirations for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work, which makes me feel lazy. Thanks, Chuck Close. He's a painter, right? But inspirations for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work. Yeah, honestly, we're all used to that. We have a deadline. We're not going to wait for inspiration to hit. We're going to get down to work, right? Another, again, blunt force tactic. Show up, show up, show up. And after a while, the muse shows up as well. Isabel's a writer. Okay. Right. Making marks. Yeah. Wade, like another thing people do is just like sketch. I got a ton of ideas around this, like just sketching and just like working it out essentially. Right. But again, even when you're hitting those blocks and you're trying to push through, like obviously there's this Edison quote, you know, I haven't failed 10,000 times. I've figured out 10,000 ways that it won't work. So I think what we're realizing is like, even when things aren't working out well, you're realizing what doesn't work. Okay. And I think that's important as well. All right. So just some quotes from famous people. We could take a look at other artists as well. So there's a couple of books I kind of want to point out, if you guys don't mind. There's this one as well, Creative Block, so how to discover new ideas, get unstuck, advice on projects from 50 successful artists. So basically everything everyone just described is what other artists do as well, right? And this Danielle Kreisa wrote a whole book on it, just so you know, and we could take a look at it. Like, she went through, interviewed 50 artists and designers, and if I can take a look, I just pulled quotes from this book from 50 different people. Talking about it with people helps. So somebody already mentioned like chatting with coworkers. This is interesting, and I don't know who said this exactly, but I find that just sitting with my discomfort for a while and trying to figure it out is what can be helpful. Being aware that you're having a creative block and just sitting with your discomfort and just, as somebody said meditate. So it's like figuring out, where is this discomfort coming from? Where's this creative block coming from? And that's why people said, oh, maybe you need something to eat. Maybe you need a snack. Maybe you need to go out and have a beer. But all these are the same things everybody said, you know? Do mindless doodles. Reverb Mike might have said this as well. You know, set a time for some mindless doodles. And it's okay to doodle and then just ruin something, right? It's kind of says, hey, you know what? This isn't that big of a deal. I think we put all this pressure on ourselves saying, oh, this has to be awesome, when it really doesn't matter. I read through this book, and more than a couple times people were like, yeah, I destroy work. Saying, hey, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Let's move on, and maybe something will come of it. So I think sort of like positioning it as like it's not that big of a deal. A lot of times this is just art, and yeah, we're getting paid for it, but it's not that big of a deal. Distract yourself. Usually people just need a break. When they come back, everything looks different once you leave. That's why when you ask somebody, hey, what do you think of this? They can easily point out something that you're just too close seeing what the problem is. So asking somebody else is huge. Somebody was getting distracted by long-term goals. A lot of time people need break time, get back to the basics, what they love. I don't know. These were just a bunch of quotes, and it's kind of like everything you guys talked about. Yep, exactly. It's just paint. It's fine. Yeah, it dries, you know, unless you're using oils or it's digital, right? Some people say I work, and that's the only way to do it. I work through or around a block. Keep your space clean. And I think, honestly, sometimes you need to kind of be aware of your like surroundings. What does your creative space look like? Just to kind of give you guys an idea. Let's actually see if I have that loop back. Is that on? Hopefully you guys can still see. Just to give you guys an idea, like here's my space, right? Just so you can get a sense. Usually there's about 3 cups, coffee, water, and then something else, all next to electronics, so they're easily spillable onto other things. Over my shoulder, I have things that distract me, so it's just basically a bunch of like 80s toys. We have our condescending art director right there, right? And of course, monitors in front of me for searching online and getting inspired from others that way. So this is kind of the sort of, I guess, my work environment for optimum creativity. Everything is right where I need. I got a coffee pot on the other side over there, a little Keurig, and then I got a little fridge down here as well. So that's kind of my creative space for getting work done. So I actually want to get some work done because I've been talking way too long, and I don't like talking so much. I want to actually do work, okay? So yeah, I got all the toys and all that fun stuff just to distract me, okay? So sometimes it takes longer than average to think of an idea, but the idea always comes. So that's what I wanted to do, is I wanted to kind of go out, do a sort of a random word generator or even picture generator, and we're just going to come up with ideas and some designs based on that one word that we get from a website at random. Okay? Go out for a walk. You guys get the idea. It's the same thing. Take a break. Sometimes it's a sign of overthinking, right? Do something completely different. This is all the same stuff. There's no deep hidden knowledge in here other than you're probably too involved in your work and you just need to take a break. So that's kind of the main point, is you need to break out of that. So that's what this book says, right? We could also talk about where good ideas come from. So if you are trying to come up with a really creative idea, this whole book talks about sort of like slow hunches and smaller ideas and half ideas that then become like a full idea. Like Tim Berners-Lee for creating the internet, right? He just kind of wanted a place to store his files, and it was just this slow burn idea that wasn't even complete, because he said he had the idea to store his files like 10 years before inventing the internet. So you might have these little ideas sort of in the back of your head that might become the big idea right? It's just that slow burn effect. And also you need to collide with others on their hunches as well, which is like mingling with others at the local pub and seeing what idea collisions happen, right? Hey, you guys want to work on a project? Sometimes you just run away to sleep. Oh, sleep is the best. The key thing here, honestly, I'm going to write this down because I think out of everything everybody's mentioned, it kind of comes down to just like listening to yourself. This is kind of like the big takeaway that I'm getting after talking to you and also knowing me. It's just like listening to yourself. Like, what are you saying that you need and understanding what that is. So I think that's really good. It's like listening. I know what breaks me out of things is like, I just need to go get some exercise or I need to take a nap. Right? So we're all listening to ourselves, right? We're listening also to others. And that's what this book talks about as well. These hunches and collisions of other ideas with other people can help out a lot. Okay. And going forward from there. Let's do this fun test. I think this will be kind of cool. You guys ready for this? This is just like a creative test. And maybe you guys have seen this or not, but you're like, okay, it's the Marshmallow Challenge. So the short of it is, in 18 minutes, you have to build the tallest freestanding structure out there with 20 sticks of spaghetti, 3 feet of tape, 3 feet of string, and 1 marshmallow. And the marshmallow must be on top. So the whole idea is to build a structure that holds a marshmallow, right? So it's like, how would you do this, right? I'm like, okay, how would I do that? I have this spaghetti. I have a marshmallow. I could pause for a second and have you guys like work on this, but nonetheless, I'm probably going to give you the answer pretty soon. All right. Here's spaghetti. I'm just making spaghetti right now. But it's like, yeah, how would you do this? Never trust the others. I would actually like to ask, what group do you think would be able to do this the fastest? Right? Marsha's hungry. She's like, I would totally eat that marshmallow. I'm already thinking of cooking the spaghetti, right? Eat the marshmallow, take the spaghetti, and leave town. Just create a whole new identity, a whole new name, right? Just reinvent yourself somewhere else with free spaghetti and 1 marshmallow. Right, so you guys probably know that you're probably going to take this marshmallow and stick it through the top of the spaghetti, right? So that's really the ultimate solution. But I think what's interesting about this is the group that was able to do this the fastest were, sure enough, the winning group was kindergartners. Kindergartners could do this faster than adults, faster than executives. Because what do we do as adults? We have to define a hierarchy. We have to figure out who the leader is in the group, right? And by the way, this was supposed to be a group exercise. I apologize. I'm sorry I didn't say that in the beginning. But the reason that this is successful with kids is they just jump in there and they just start messing with the marshmallow. Like, they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They know nothing's really going to break, right? And they just have fun with it. So the key thing here is like, hey, you know what? Let's not necessarily worry too much or think too much about what we're doing and just do it, right? As I drop in a bevel and emboss for this, shall I? Oh, wrong layer. That's okay. I was just about to make a marshmallow. There it is, a little bevel and emboss. Let's make that a little larger. Something like that. Soften it up. Again, there's my really quick marshmallow. I wish I had more time for it, but you get the idea. Okay, so again, we need to approach things with sort of a childlike view of things, and we'll be much more successful. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Kids are awesome is what I'm saying, right? All right. Yeah, so approach things as Stephen King has said that as well. He's like, you know what? as adults, we think so linearly, and kids think like around the corners. So it's like approach things as if a kid would and just have fun with it. So that's what we're going to do today. Here's just kind of some final notes that I have that I'm going to also end with as well. It's all about trying new things, just like kids would do. Make better mistakes, but yeah, make some mistakes. Create without time to think. Be curious, work hard, get lucky, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make some fun stuff. Let's jump out here. I've already given you this resource, by the way. I might be able to paste this link into chat just for you. I don't know if you're going to have the ability to look through all of these, but I think this is pretty cool. Sometimes use Scribed just because it enables me to highlight and click through all the pages of this book, and it works great for presentations. So it's kind of awesome. All right. And again, we can kind of click through some of these and see what they said. You can see right here. A block is the sign of overthinking. All right, so let's do this. Let's jump in here. Let's do a random word generator. So we have randomwordgenerator.com. Okay, and what I'm going to do is we'll just generate one word, and then this is just a fun creative exercise. One word, any type, no restrictions whatsoever, right? And we're going to just generate one. So we'll click right there, and the word is campaign. All right, that's a fun word, but we can make it fun, can't we? Let's do it. Campaign. I was looking for something like angels or something awesome, but we could do campaign, right? So let's just do something creative with the word campaign, right? What does it mean to you, right? So what are we doing with the word campaign? Let's think of some creative ideas around it and some visuals, right? I'm already thinking like right here what would be fun to do with this, and I gotta see if this will work. Let's do all caps. Let me see if this is gonna work really fast. Hope you guys like this. Where is let's pull that out. Properties panel. Again, properties panel. I don't need character and paragraph anymore. I don't even know what that was doing up. I'll close that, and let's jump in and maybe make that all caps. And again, let's just play with this and have some fun. Because initially what I was actually thinking is what I see is what do you want to do with the campaign? You want people to like agree with you or get on board with something, right? Sorry. And we have audio kick in from nowhere. This is what I think of. I think of the word can. So let's do this. Let's do a vote for somebody in 2021. Vote for Wade 2021. All right, can. I often think like the word red is kind of like stop. I want something more friendly than that. I want more go, so I'm going to go with green. Green says go, right? But we want to make it a little bit more trendy, okay? And if I just shift that more into the teal, I feel like this is just like a more trendy color, okay? So that's what I have there. We're going to kind of overlay that like that, okay? So we already have like one idea done. Vote for Pedro. Awesome. I love it. All right, one idea done. Group it together. Really quick. Can you guys read that? Is that okay? Does that make sense? Afroja? Again, we're just going off of things quickly, right? What's some things that you would like to campaign for, actually? Maybe that's it. Some people want to vote for Pedro. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you want to campaign for? And maybe it could be a number of things. I guess I'm looking to you guys for ideas. When I have a brain, right? We could do vote. And somebody said vote for Pedro. Awesome. Oh, I keep hitting Command P, I think. There we go. Vote for Pedro. Let's do it. again, the whole idea is like we're really not thinking about this a lot, and we're just getting down to designing. Right? The thing about these 3 words is 4 isn't even necessary. It's like, yeah, it's necessary, but it's like we just need vote Pedro. You get the idea. So that means we get to have fun with this second word, right? We can have vote for Pedro. Pedro's a fun guy, huh? Let's go vote for Pedro. We'll make some red, of course. Some natural things come to mind, at least in the US. It's like, okay, red and then blue, right? We get it. We could throw the flag in here. When I'm picking colors, by the way, picking that red, if I decide to change this to blue, I want to make sure I'm using the same color saturation, the same lightness and tint. Or excuse me, tint and shade. So it's a tint as you go toward white, and then it's a shade as you go toward black. And then we have the saturation of the color. The short of it is, if I pick blue, I want it to be that same saturation, if you will, right? And I can adjust a little bit and make it nice and neat. That was easy enough to do. Let's make it some more, like even more exciting, shall we? Let's make it more exciting. Okay, you ready for this? I want to do a cool burst thing now. Let's grab. I want to do a cool burst. I want to do like a radial burst. Okay? So that's the goal. I'm wondering how you guys would do it, right? I just want a burst kind of coming out of here. Like, Pedro's exciting, people. A couple of ways we could do that. I'll just jump in. I'll use the pen tool. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, let's make it sure it's a shape. I do that all the time. It's a shape. Bam. Let's make it really long. Like that. There we go. And again, we won't worry about it being perfect. We will take that same blue. Hit OK. Let's try this. It's been a while since I did this. Oh, Z. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. It's not going to be perfect. I knew. Ooh. That was pretty good, guys. This never happens. Okay, I'm going to explain what I just did really fast. I created this one shape initially. Right? And what I did is I just did a step and repeat in Photoshop. So, started with this first letter. Let's turn off everything else. This first shape, right? And typically you do a Command T. Okay. Ooh, the star tool. Shoot, is there even a star tool in? Oh, it's been a while. Polygon. Oh, I'm into it. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we could do. We're checking this out. Oh, yes. Slow clap. Uriel. Thank you so much. I forgot all about this and I needed to be reminded. Loving this. Thank you so much. Okay. So what just happened there? Right? I was thinking, oh, star tool. There's no star tool in Photoshop. Yes, there is though, Paul. There's not only the custom shapes you can find a star, but we want to go to polygon. So go to polygon, and this is brand new. So this is like less than a year old, right? We have this polygon selected, right? We could draw out this lovely polygon, right? Spelled P-A-U-L-E-Y. And we can give it a number of sides. But the magic is right here. We're going to take this not to 100%, but if we take that close to down to 0, it's going to merge right in the center there. So this allows you these properties in the properties panel under appearance. We have the ability to control the number of points this star has and how deep they go as well. So that's essentially what I was making, roughly. Yes. Oh, Rick brings up a great point. Thank you, Rick. you bring up a great point. It's like, oh, you thought I was an illustrator. Like a lot of times you're like, yeah, maybe this is a job for Illustrator. Okay, so that's another question that I kind of want to talk about. But here's our star. Okay, we're going to do this a couple different ways. There it is, boom, boom. Okay, here's our lovely star. It's not quite like my other star. Like, what if I just want this to be inverted? So I actually want all these sharp points. Well, let's do that now. As I stress over how to do it. Just kidding. Let's make this about 18 because I think it'll look cooler. Let's make it larger. Like that. Oh, we could even make that a little narrower. Now let's do this. This is what we can do. We can take this. We can take a circle or an ellipse. And rather than adding to this shape, I want to go in here and I want to subtract. I want to exclude. I'm gonna have to play with this because I gotta think. My brain is hurting. I don't want to combine. I don't want to subtract the front shape. Yes, I do. I do want to subtract the front shape. You ready for this? Click and drag, holding down the Shift key, dragging out like that, and maybe it did it. Let's do that again, guys. Okay, deselected. We're going to draw one more time. Let's just draw out over here. Okay, we don't want to subtract the front shape. I'm sorry about this, folks. Intersect shape areas. Nope. Exclude overlapping shapes. There we go. Got it. Took a couple times, but we did it. We wanted to exclude overlapping shapes because I wanted to remove that star, and now we have the inverse of what I wanted, to be honest with you. Okay, so there's our shape. We did this all on one layer, as you can see, and now we have this burst that we can make nice and big for our poster design. Because what I realized is that it's a little small, little boring. There we go. Let's do that. Something like that. All right. Again, we're just playing with ideas. We're doing a vote for Pedro, and I will probably change that name soon. Let's turn these on. Bam, bam, bam. Now we have our initial vote for Pedro. We have our second one. This is this other star that we could also play with. Bursting out. This one, of course, we have a lot more that we can play with because it is an actual basic shape that I can control right in here. We can control sort of the number of bursts and how shallow it is. Cool. All right, so hopefully this is kind of working for you guys. It's not that great for me. What's so strong about it? Look at this. Look at this. This black, ugh. Don't do that, Paul, right? It's all about leading the eye. We'll do that. Vote for Pedro. Again, just an idea as we move on. Yeah, you could do that. Lindsay, you're exactly right. I could have made the background blue and made the star white. You're exactly right. I, for one, just wanted to make things more complex. Just kidding. I actually wanted to show you how to make unique shapes by adding and subtracting and doing all the intersecting and everything. So, and to your point, I might even do that. Let's do this. Go jump in here. A lot of times if I need to do a solid color, this is how I'll do it. You don't need to draw out a big square. Just go to a solid color layer, and then we can pick that color and then change the color. Lindsay knows what's up. Good job, Lindsay. Lindsay wins. She's the smartest one in the room right now. That's okay. Okay, cool. Pedro. So, in fact, we'll change this. vote for Lindsay. Cool, cool. All right, so the word's still campaign. We went from vote to Pedro, vote for Lindsay, as we can see here, and we can start to play with this some more. I'm going to do Command G to group. I'm going to go back to my original idea just to point out what I was doing earlier, because there is a step and repeat in Photoshop, and I don't think a lot of people know this. So this is what I did earlier. I drew out this shape. Typically, you'll do a Command T, but do an Option Command T, then rotate it and move it like so, and then enter. So when I hold down the Option key or the Alt key, it stores that move in memory. So now I get to repeat it. So to repeat it, I'm going to hold down Shift, Option, Command, T. I know it's a lot, but that does the repeat portion. Okay? So Option, Command, T, rotate it. So Command T is transform. The Option will store it in memory, and then what we do is we hold down Shift, Option, and then go from there. Okay. Ooh, Rick Adams. Oh, I love it. Love what you guys are doing here. Ah, I love it. So again, we're having fun with this. Let's do a Command J. We'll jump this. And if we are voting for Lindsay, what would we say? Say yes to Lindsay. There we go. Her campaign slogan, right? Rather than voting for, so boring. My brain's not even thinking about it. But say yes to Lindsay. So again, a play off of her name. As you can see, right? The big thing here with the color, by the way, is we want to make sure out of all these things, sure, we want you to say yes, but the key thing we want you to remember is Lindsay. So I would make Lindsay the most dominant thing in this particular design that I'm working on right now. Okay? Say yes to Lindsay. All right, let's move on. We have that done. It's okay. It's not that exciting. It's like, it's all right. It's kind of boring, right? It needs so much more, to be honest with you. Right, that alone makes it a little bit more interesting. Ah, I love it. Let's do that. She has snacks. Or she has sandwiches. Is that what you said? Sandwiches. Again, the goal here is we're not being too uptight about this design. We're just having fun, okay? So we know when we're having fun, we'll come up with something creative. And I can tell you guys are having fun already because I love it. She has sandwiches, right? She has sandwiches. Right, awesome. I also love the idea of, say, vote for love and respect. That's cool as well. Needs a skull and lens flare. We could gussy this up all day long. And I guess that's the goal. Like, how can we make this look just a little bit more interesting? It's just it's so flat. Some content's getting lost here, right? Probably what I would do is let's just come in, let's add a new layer. Let's turn that into a clipping mask. B for brush. Let's just get a fun brush in here. It's actually not a fun brush. It's just a soft round brush. But I'm going to change the flow. I'm going to crank that down. Right, and we can kind of paint and do a... Wait for it, people. Wait for it. I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm just trying things. I'm trying things that may or may not work. Okay, so here's the difference, Carol and Uriel, and you come on. The difference, I think, between like an okay designer and a good designer, right? I could tell if you're like new to design, because you will like really crank up that gradient, right? To be honest with you, nothing says amateur, in my opinion, which is worth nothing, more than a really strong gradient, right? That's all I'm saying. It starts to read a little amateurish, right? So when I have this, even if I double this up, doesn't this look lame? Can we just all agree this kind of looks lame? Right? We want the softest, easiest sort of gradient possible. So that's just cranking that down like so, right? I would even play with blend modes in here. There we go. Overlay. See, all I did there is we're keeping it really clean. That's all. I hope I didn't sound mean when I said that, but... Okay. Cool. It looks clunky, Marsha. You know why? Because we have really not played with the font at all. I literally went with the standard font that I was using in all my slides. Ooh, thank you so much. Hammerstrand, I see you out there. Fika, F-I-K-A, is the Swedish word for a coffee/tea break with cake and chatting with colleagues. Oh, Fika. Isn't there a Fika house? I think there's a Fika coffee house in Denver. I think that's what it's called. So again, this is big, this is bold. I didn't spend a lot of time on the font. That's a whole other story. We could spend more time on this. I don't know if you guys want me to push this design further or if we go with a different one entirely, right? That's kind of the question. That's when I just start jumping layers. Command J. Let's do another design that might be better. But probably will be silly. Again, our whole goal, if we're talking about creative block, is to not take ourselves too seriously, right? But honestly, I would probably grab what I think actually makes things look pretty like more contemporary is having like blocks, like having a block cut out like this, and then kind of deals with like, I don't know, works with some depth or something, right? Let's try it. Again, there are no wrong answers here other than not voting for Lindsay. That's the biggest one. And then I would play with all of the colors. Vote for Silly 2021. Boom! Wade, you nailed it. I want to do that design more than anything, right? That inspires me. I'm thinking that would be awesome. Don't worry, Lindsay's awesome as well. There's always something to say for like cleaning the whole file, starting out with something new and fresh as well, just so you know. But we'll just jump in. Let's do it. Let's get this party started. My whole goal actually was to add a second word, but you guys are doing such a good job of like coming up with other ideas that I'm totally into. Because I was like, okay, I'll use a random word generator and I'll hit it twice, and then this will be the second word that we would add to this mix. Key thing that I tend to do, by the way, when I'm hitting like some sort of creative block or it's just not working, is I'll typically do opposites. Because sometimes I get so much into like working in a certain color palette where everything is blue, I need to go the complete opposite of whatever I was doing, right? So just think in terms of opposites, and then that's, of course, really fun. All right, so that would be the other word, but I also like vote for silly 2020. 2021, sorry about that. Okay, silly could be your running mate. I like that as well. Vote for silly. All right. I need to play with this font. I really like a big, bold font, honestly. I think it actually works well for campaign posters. Right? Because they're just in your face. Bring it on. Silly 2021. Is Silly the last name of the person? Right? So is it obviously like their last name? Vote for Silly. Do we have fun with this? Do we add something to it? Do we throw a face in here, right? Because when I think of Silly, like, again, just kind of thinking the first thing that's coming to mind is a silly face. So we'll just do this one right here. By the way, these are all my custom shapes that you have access to as well. You'll go up, first of all, I selected the custom shape tool, and then I've opened this up. I've already customized all this, and you honestly won't even see everything in here in this flyout menu. Best thing you could do is go to Window, go to Shapes, open up your Shapes panel, and it's right up here. And let's just customize it, because this panel and this panel are related. Okay, so I open up my Shapes panel, go to this flyout menu, and from here you can append default shapes, of course add your own, and then legacy shapes and more. This is what I do. Legacy shapes, yeah. Scroll down. Oh, tell me about it. All the good stuff, even though I can't scroll down that far because of I changed the resolution. That's where I'll find those. Right, so that's where they are. Don't worry about me changing the resolution, but they'll be down at the bottom of this panel. Okay, so we got that. We got the face. Let's make it happen. Right? It's getting... I'm getting Watchmen vibes coming from this. But let's go in. I'll sometimes pick web colors just because I need a sort of a basic color like so. New layer with a circle behind it to make it black. There we are. Couple ways to work on this. Let's scale it up. Do we do something like that? That's in the background. All right, so that's good. Reading comments, I can put a funny accent on it, but these are the elements that I could start playing with. This could literally be the campaign. The fun thing about this is I could turn this into an S. I can put shapes in here, which would be really kind of interesting. I could put this face kind of in between the L and the Y, kind of peeking out. Right, like that. Let's actually flip horizontal. By the way, I usually do a transform, Command T, and then you right click, and then you have that full menu right in here. So flip horizontal, kind of do like that, right? And we can mess with this. So let's just group it. Let's throw out this. Selecting that L, holding down the Alt key or the Option key, we'll add a layer mask, and you could see what it did right there, exactly what I want. And now we could have silly like so. Again, I think we're learning, you know what? Don't take life so serious. None of us are getting out alive, as they say. Not to be too morbid. Sorry about that. Now everybody's depressed. But there we have this behind that L. A number of ways we could do that. I'm just going to kind of make sure it's set up like that, and now we have silly. Key thing is we could cover up that second L. They're going to read it as silly, and it's not going to be a problem. Use a lowercase I and put the face as the dot, which is another idea. You're exactly right. So again, that's why we have a number of folders over here or layer groups, so I can actually work out a couple different ideas as you throw them out there. You guys have the better of it because you guys have the opportunity to kind of throw out ideas and then I just do them. So you guys are kind of serving as the art director right now. All right, let's try this lowercase. And I'd probably change the font too, but honestly, I typically go with the sans serif because it makes it more modern, right? And I would cheat this as well. Let's cheat it. Maybe that just needs to, we need to chop the top off of it. Bam, like that. You guys get the idea. We have been dealing so much with text here, which is kind of not my plan for, you know, Photoshop. But again, Photoshop gives me total flexibility to work on whatever I want. And again, you're having some creative block, just go the exact opposite of whatever you were doing, right? That's what I'd say. That's my big advice. Jump in there and make it as crazy as you want or as ridiculous as you want. Just do something different and you'll be surprised at what happens. Let's make that a smart object. Let's liquefy it. And I'm out of time. Dang it. I'm always out of time. Let's throw some fun swirls in there. You guys get the idea. But thanks so much for watching. Right? There we have our crazy look. I'll work on it some more, but hopefully this was somewhat, hopefully it was helpful, by the way. Just understanding ways to be creative. Ultimately, I'd say listen to yourself and, of course, listen to others because you guys have been an awesome help to me. Thanks so much for watching. Stick around. We got Jason up next. Thanks so much, everybody.